Broadcasting from the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C., Solutions Review is on location at Boomi World 2019. Brought to you by Dell Bumi.
It's Doug Atkinson here at Boomi World 2019, and we are on the floor of the expo, joined by a special guest, and that is Div Manickam, who is the Director of Portfolio Messaging for Boomi. And I love your title, because it's talking to customers and prospects. And that's really our audience, customers and prospects. And so what we like to know is how are you presenting this kind of a solution, which is a very evolved now. iPaaS is a very evolved solution, and certainly there's a lot of changes happening. How are you thinking about that evolution in terms of messaging to a prospect?
That's an awesome question, and I'm sure it intrigued people's attention as to what does portfolio messaging mean. We are the product marketing, who you know is part of helping with positioning and messaging at its core. The evolution happened when we realized that Boomi is a platform, and what we do is not just support our products or solutions, but we also support industries. And so we are starting to cater to our buyer personas, our customers, where the value that they're seeing is no more just a product, but it's more about the platform. So that's the shift that we have started seeing.
Well, and that's a shift that a lot of technologies that we see in a lot of different categories are making, that shift from point solution to platform.
Right.
And certainly in iPaaS, that's a very large evolution. I'm curious what you see customers particularly keen to leverage with regard to the platform.
Sure. So the way we have seen it and why Boomi itself has evolved, right? We started with application and data integration. And then as part of that evolution, we realized that once we have connected all our applications and data, the next question that our customers asked was, all right, I know I have my data all connected. What's next for me? How do I make sure that I can trust the data that is there? And so we brought in master data hub capabilities to help support that. So think of it as a platform with services that can actually help cater to our customers' needs. So now that they can trust the data, the third question that they asked is, perfect, now I know that I have the right data, it's all synchronized, I know which data source it's coming from. How do I actually expose it externally, whether it's my trading partners, so we brought in B2B EDI management capabilities, and then expose it for external developers, so we brought in API management, so you can actually manage and know that the right people are accessing that data that's sitting behind the firewall. And then the fifth element of that was bringing in Flow, which was our acquisition a couple years ago with Manywho, where now you're adding the people element into it and saying, the reality is you actually have customers that are not just looking to connect application A to B, right, the point to point, but what they're trying to do is accelerate their business outcomes and they actually achieve some business goals that they have. So onboarding is a great example that we have seen most of our customers look at. We have universities here at Boomi World that are presenting where they are talking about the shift that they're starting to see smarter campuses where students no more are looking for, hey, I'm going to go to your website and gather that information, but the reality is what they want is when I need that information, is it available to me in the form that I would like to see it? So you saw some capabilities around how we are actually partnering with voice and making sure that if our customers want to receive that data and information in voice, then great, not as a dashboard, not as a website FAQ, right? So those are the shifts that we're starting to see.
So I'm curious about, I know you're building a team, you have a team of folks that are thinking about this type of message development. I'm curious about the process of how you go through that. Are you talking to customers? Are you doing surveys? How are you developing that?
Yep. Just like product development, I think messaging development is real. And the big key part for us is making sure that we understand what is the value that we provide for our customers. So persona mapping, making sure we know who our buyer personas are, what gets them excited, what keeps them up at night. Are we talking to the right people at the right level, right? So as Boomi evolved from just an integration player in the market to actually becoming more than an iPaaS, right? If you think about iPaaS, integration is at its core, but with bringing flow and people into that equation, we started realizing that our customers are not just asking for a single solution. What they're asking for is a platform that can achieve unlimited possibilities for them.
Well, so that leads me to another question that we're asking everybody, and that is, as folks are starting to take that next step and they're thinking about a next generation solution or extending to a larger platform, what's a particular pitfall that you might advise somebody to be mindful of as they're getting there?
I think the biggest misnomer that's there in the market is if it is simple and easy to use, it cannot do the complex things. And the reality is simple and easy to use is a given. It's sometimes taken for granted. When you don't have it, that's when people realize that actually that simplicity was what got me attracted to that solution. So when you think about new solutions, and I think it's just a shift in the industry as a whole, where we realize that it's not just about how quickly you can achieve something, it's also who can access it, at what level can they access it. So one of the things that you'll see more as we go into our keynote tomorrow is our customers and our users want us to meet them at their level so that we can actually solve their problems. So if it is a developer, or if it is a business user like a business analyst, or if it's a data steward, then they have their own ecosystems that they work in. And they don't need to learn a new tool or learn a new capability to actually serve their needs. So we are actually helping meet at their level and helping solve the challenges that they have today with that simplicity that you need, right? Simplicity is kind of the norm, and that's how you will see modern UIs today, where it's not a clunky system where you have to navigate through and it's not intuitive enough. Those things are there, like you need it to actually stand out in the market today.
So there are a lot of folks here, although they're starting to file out to the next set of sessions. But I'm curious about what you'd like somebody to take away from an event like this. So they've come, they've heard the keynotes, they've heard the messaging. What would you like them to take back to their office?
That's perfect. One thing I would definitely encourage is when you're thinking about whether it's accelerating business outcomes or achieving specific goals, think about the tenets that you need to achieve that. And as a unified platform, what Boomi allows you to do is definitely differentiated, right? So the first tenet is the ability to connect everything. And when you think about connect everything, immediately everybody starts thinking, oh, it's your applications and data. But the reality is it's your applications, your data, in the things, right? The Internet of Things, because data is not just sitting behind the firewall on a server. Data is everywhere. You have data sitting on the edge and the gateway devices. So you want to make sure you do have that. And then the fourth part of that is people, because when you are connecting everything, your applications are doing something that people have a purpose and a workflow that they're trying to achieve. So that's the first tenet. The second tenet is the ability to run anywhere. And when you think about run anywhere, it's your deployment capability. So can you deploy on the private cloud, the public cloud? Can you deploy on the edge? And we actually have customers where they have cruise ships, which are running our lightweight runtime engine, the Atom, and they need that because that's how they are interacting, and that's the environment that they have. That's the second tenet that we have. And especially in this world where we are going into the multi-cloud environments, you do realize that you need those extensions, whether it's AWS, GCP, Microsoft Azure, all of those ecosystems are coming together, and Boomi as that open distributed platform is giving you those capabilities that you need to be able to deploy your runtimes anywhere. The third tenet that we have is engage everywhere, and this is our biggest differentiator. Oftentimes you think you need a mobile app or a web portal to actually engage and actually get information and data. The reality of where we are today and the beauty of the generation that we are in is the form factor doesn't exist anymore. You wake up every morning and you're talking to your Alexa. that's the shift that you're seeing. So you're seeing more capabilities, and you heard this today in our keynote too, right? Voice is a big part of how people are going to consume information, and Boomi, with our foundation, can help you accelerate those outcomes too. So you'll start seeing more of these capabilities where all I need is, where is my data, how many people actually onboarded this year. The information that I need is one question and one answer, not a dashboard, not anything else. So you'll start seeing more of this happen in the coming years, and I think we are in that next precipice of seeing that evolution happen.
Well, it's a great opportunity. This is certainly a wonderful event. We appreciate you swinging by and offering some advice. And we would certainly encourage you to check out everything that Boomi is bringing to the table. It's an amazing portfolio these days. Thanks very much for coming by.
All right, thank you. This has been great.